Push Up Panda for today. Well, check this out. To all the business owners out there, pay attention. Marketing and communications agency Riverbed is giving small businesses access to big ad exposure. Guess for how much?
For free.
For free. That is correct. And the hope is that this will increase their income and help rebuild the economy through this initiative as well. And small enterprises, usually employ between 50% and 60% of Mzansi's workforce and contributes around 34% of GDP, in case you didn't know that at all. And there are also over 5 million micro and small businesses in Mzansi, many of which are located in the informal sector. So they definitely need this. And to tell us more about it, we are joined on the line by our guest, Riverbed CEO, Mona Lisa Mzwambila. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making time for us.
Hi to all your listeners.
Thank you indeed. So let's get straight into it. What does it actually take to sustain small businesses, according to you?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge for small businesses right now, as we know, is that they are the hardest hit as a result of the lockdown and the pandemic. And so what we found, and there's been a lot of research that shows that, currently some of the challenges small businesses are facing is liquidity. Right. They're struggling with cash flow. And then as we get into level 3, the other big thing for them will be seeing how they can stimulate demand. So those are really the two important things. And so in terms of how to sustain business as a result of that, the big question becomes how do we help stimulate growth? And that's really the big thing around our campaign in terms of ad crashes and what it seeks to do.
Okay. And then is this a registered initiative or just a campaign offering free ad space? Because I think it's absolutely amazing.
Look, it's an initiative. I caution calling it a campaign.
Okay.
And it's something that as an agency we have put together. I've always believed, I started Riverbed 13 years ago, and I've always believed in the power of creative ideas to solve business challenges. And now, more than ever, I think all of us need to band together to see how we can, look to assist. And we know that small businesses are really going to struggle. We have creative ideas and solutions that we can offer.
Right.
And if you put those two together, that's really how, the ad crashes idea came to life. But it's not a campaign that will exist without bringing on board the right partners to help us give these small businesses the exposure. And hence, it's not just a campaign. It really is an initiative where we're looking at bringing big business, big media owners, and obviously the small businesses, together to really do good.
Thank you for clarifying that. So now we've answered the why and the what. Now to the how, and I'd like to ask you, what are the criteria for small businesses, to qualify for assistance under this particular project?
Okay, great. So, and maybe just to take a step back, ad crashes, like you said, what we're looking at doing is obviously giving small businesses free advertising, and I think the big piece of that is big media exposure.
Right.
And we're calling it ad crashes because we want to give small businesses an opportunity to crash big brand party. So I want to bring a picture of somebody who can't make it to the VIP lounge at whatever club. We're going to give them an opportunity to really have a platform where they can really access a wider market. And when they do that, they obviously, are able to sell more. That's really the premise against which ad crashes exist. And so, just in terms of criteria, we're thinking around this. I mean, as you said, there's so many small businesses. Which are the ones that we believe would need help or would benefit from a campaign like this? And what we did was look at small businesses. From a definition perspective, it's, businesses that employing between 11 and 50 people.
Okay.
And I think more importantly, ones that would benefit, from a campaign like this. So they need to be selling to consumers, which is important, not within the B2B space. Either have a national footprint or are looking to see how they can, increase their scope. What's also important for us in the context of the reality we're in now, we know there's a lot of innovations coming to the market, people doing masks, things that can help the Department of Health or whatever. So those innovations are important for us to also look at to see how we can provide them with some of the exposure they need to be able to sell those products.
Okay, and just dissecting it a bit deeper, how many small businesses is Riverbed actually committing to help over what period, and what specific sectors, if any, are you guys actually looking at the offer focusing on?
Great, that's a really good question. I mean, for us, we're looking at this campaign across a series of different phases. The first phase we're looking at obviously kickstarts, today we started with the awareness phase, and we're looking at that rolling out over 6 to 8 weeks. And in that first phase, we want to look at creating through the line campaigns, so advertising campaigns for 10 small businesses.
Right.
What we would be able to provide them with is a radio commercial. We would look at a digital campaign, and we'd also look at out of home, so your billboards, etc. And we would obviously, in the context of developing that, look to see, what kind of business they are,
right.
Provide them with a bit of strategic guidance in terms of how they should be marketing, etc. Because I think what's really important is that we're sure that this campaign delivers on sales for them. Otherwise, we really won't have done justice to the campaign. So that's really going to be, the main thing that we want to do with them. So it's 10 in the first tranche.
Yeah.
And then we obviously, as a second phase, want to look at doing more. One of the things is that we're obviously reliant on the amount of media assets we're able to get. So we've partnered, with the likes of companies like JCDecaux and ProVantage. They own the majority of your billboards and your digital billboards, etc. So for as long as they can give us that inventory, we can obviously continue doing this campaign. We've also managed to get on board some, radio owners who are quite excited about the initiative, and so we can do it. But, anything we do is dependent, obviously, on the partners we bring on board and what they're able to assist us with.
Thank you so much, and massive respect to you and your partners on this. Being a hero to small business in such a tough time, definitely out there. And
thank you so much.
With that said, now, everyone's asking how? Like, how do I register? How do I be down as well? So where do they go, and especially to get more information on what's happening?
Right. So we've opened a website. Obviously, part of this campaign is really developing a website. And we partnered with a company called Invade, who's helped us just actually go live. But you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and it's at Crashes.
Thank you so much. We were joined here on Pusha Panda by Riverbed CEO Mona Lisa Zwambila, chatting to us about an awesome initiative out there for small businesses, giving them access to big ad exposure for absolutely 0 rand, and it's called Ad Crashes. So cool, man.